Hi, I'm Chandra Waller, your Santa Barbara County Chief Executive Officer. One of the most critical functions of county government is to create and implement an annual budget. How do we take on this large and difficult task? Where do we receive our funds, and how do we decide where those funds will be spent? That is what the upcoming budget video will discuss. We changed this year's budget in a way that makes it easier for the county to inform and work with the public and policymakers. We changed the budget book's orientation to make it easier to read. We decreased details on how divisions operate and added information that shows how departments use your money effectively and efficiently. This year, Santa Barbara County will recommend a budget of more than $800 million in expenditures. That is money that will be spent to make our county safe, protect our children and families, and ensure sustainability of the quality of life we all enjoy. I encourage you to watch the video, be informed, and then participate. The county's annual budget is your annual budget, and we hope that by watching this, you will have a better understanding of the process and how you can play an important role in it. Thanks for watching.
When I buy a cup of coffee for $1.50, a tax of 12 cents is added and then sent to the government. The government then uses that money to provide for public safety, parks, to operate schools, and a host of other things that residents need to enjoy and live their lives.
So who decides what to do with these 12 cents, and how do they make that decision? Deciding where the county's portion goes happens through the budget process. And part of that process are budget deliberations, which happen every June in Santa Barbara County. While the county's budget process never stops, the second week in June is always dedicated to the adoption of the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. When the Board of Supervisors adopt a budget, they decide how $204 million in general county revenues is spent to provide services for over 400,000 county residents.
In government budgeting, the general fund is the money that is not set aside for a special purpose. When the county talks about balancing the budget, they usually mean the general fund money which is used for day-to-day expenses. For the next 15 minutes, we're going to provide an overview of the 2013 through 2015 budget book with a focus on proposals for how the general fund is distributed.
The key to democracy is an informed and participative public. We are presenting this budget video because we want to encourage civic participation and help you better understand the budget process. In May, the County Executive Office releases the recommended annual budget book. The County Executive Office is run by the County Executive Officer, who is the top appointed official in county government. The budget book opens with Section A, which contains the County Executive Officer's transmittal letter. The CEO's plan for implementing policy continues with Section B. This section contains an overview of the recommended operating plan, provides explanations for what the county's priorities are, and reviews the economic conditions which help shape those priorities. As the sections progress, the information becomes increasingly detailed. Section C is titled Summary Schedules, and it says how much money the county has and what the county wants to spend that money on. It provides an integrated overview of revenue and expenditures, funding sources, staffing trends, and how the various funds balance and relate to programs. 91% of those funds come from three sources: intergovernmental revenues, charges for services, and taxes. The total operating budget for this year is $844.5 million, which is divided among the county's 6 functional groups. Policy and Executive is proposed to receive 5.7%, Public Safety 31.5%, Health and Human Services 37.7%, General Government and Support Services 8.7%, Community Resources and Public Facilities 15.9%, and General County Programs less than 1%. The General County Programs budget contains those programs and projects which are not directly associated with one specific department.
As we said earlier, in government budgeting, the general fund is the money that is not set aside for a special purpose. When the county talks about balancing the budget, they usually mean the general fund money which is used for day-to-day expenses. While the total general fund is $309 million, the Board of Supervisors has discretion during budget week over $204 million. The bulk of the budget book consists of Section D, which provides the board and the public detailed accounting for each department's goals and objectives, program of service, related revenues, staffing, and recurring performance measures. This will in turn help them make more informed decisions on how to apportion $204 million in general fund money. The first page of each department section provides an organizational chart, information on the number of full-time employees in the department, and the staffing trend. The following pages are more detailed, with information that show the source of funding, how those funds are used, and how the department's overall budget is allocated to specific divisions or programs for previous and future years.
The Policy and Executive Functional Area is made up of 3 departments: the County Executive Office, the Board of Supervisors, and County Council. The purpose of the Policy and Executive Functional Group is to provide quality public services to the people of Santa Barbara County in response to their need for a safe, healthy, and sustainable environment, and to maintain an engaged and diverse workforce. The budget proposes a general fund contribution of $13.1 million, which equals 6.4% of the total general fund. The bulk of that funding, 61%, will go to the County Executive Office, while 22% will go to the Board of Supervisors and 17% to County Council. Some of the policy and executive's accomplishments included serving on 7 oversight boards for dissolved redevelopment agencies to ensure affected entities were fairly compensated, and the advancement of the county legislative platform to maximize local revenues to support critical services, programs, and facilities.
The Public Safety Functional Area is made up of 6 departments: the Sheriff, Probation, Fire, the District Attorney, the Public Defender, and Court Special Services. The tenet of the Public Safety Functional Group is the protection of life and property through highly competent delivery of emergency response, law enforcement, custody, and rehabilitation services that provides a high level of safety to residents and visitors. Additionally, the group believes that the public is well served when victims of crime are protected and individuals charged with a crime have equal access to justice, are prosecuted and defended diligently and ethically, and receive a fair and timely resolution of their case. The budget proposes a general fund contribution of $122.6 million to public safety, which equals 60% of the total county general fund. The bulk of the contribution to public safety, 57%, will go to the sheriff, while 21% will go to probation, 10% to the district attorney, 7% to court special services, and 5% to the public defender. Fire receives no general fund money because their funding comes from fire district property taxes and contracted fire protection services. Court Special Services supports Superior Court, and there are no full-time employees funded by Court Special Services. Some of public safety's accomplishments include establishing the countywide truancy program, ensuring that 90% of minors at the Los Prietos Boys Camp successfully graduate from their program, resolving most felonies in less than 90 days by the public defender, deploying the county aviation unit, and completing security systems upgrades of the main jail.
The Health and Human Services Functional Area is made up of 5 departments: Social Services, Public Health, Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Services, Child Support Services, and FIRST 5. The Health and Human Services departments promote the strategic values of accountability, customer focus, and efficiency by working collaboratively to prevent disease and promote health, provide for accessible physical and mental health care, and advance the economic well-being of the community. The budget proposes a general fund contribution of nearly $13 million, which equals 6.3% of the total county general fund. The bulk of the contribution to Health and Human Services, 67%, will go to public health, while 23% will be allocated to social services and 17% to alcohol, drug, and mental health services. Child Support Services receives no general fund money and receives 2/3 of its funding from federal revenues and 1/3 from state revenues. FIRST 5 also receives no general fund monies because it is funded by a statewide tax of 50 cents on every pack of cigarettes. Some of Health and Human Services accomplishments include establishing a portal to provide patient access to electronic health records, conducting peer specialist training, and placing 8 graduates in ADMHS internship positions, finalizing over 100 adoptions for children in foster care, and distributing over $28 million in child support.
The Community Resources and Public Facilities functional area is made up of 4 departments: Community Services, Planning and Development, Public Works, and Agriculture and Cooperative Extension. Community Resources and Public Facilities is committed to efficiently providing, operating, and maintaining public works infrastructure, facilities, parks, and services to make everyday life as safe and convenient as possible for the people we serve. The budget proposes a general fund contribution of $16 million, which equals roughly 8% of the total county general fund. The bulk of the contribution to Community Resources and Public Facilities, 49%, will go to Community Services, while 25% will be allocated to Planning and Development, 18% to Public Works, and 9% to Agriculture and Cooperative Extension. While Public Works receives $2.8 million in general fund contributions, that money is only 3% of their $92 million operating budget. Community Resources and Public Facilities accomplishments include detecting and suppressing numerous destructive exotic pests, processing 1,000 zoning permits and 3,000 building permits with a valuation of over $140 million, development of the Resource Recovery CT project at the Tahigas landfill, establishing a web portal on the county's website to provide information on economic vitality and sustainability programs and services available in the county of Santa Barbara.
The General Government and Support Services functional area is made up of 5 departments: the Clerk Recorder Assessor, General Services, the Auditor Controller, the Treasurer Tax Collector, and Debt Services. The Support Services Group provides essential financial, technical, and administrative infrastructure to external customers and the county organization that enables achievement of the county's mission. The budget proposes a general fund contribution of $28.3 million, which equals 14% of the total county general fund. The bulk of the contribution to support services, 34%, will go to the Clerk Recorder Assessor, while 29% will be allocated to general services, 23% to the Auditor Controller, 11% to the Treasurer Tax Collector, and 3% to debt services. Due to the nature of its internal role charged with promoting fiscal integrity, the Auditor Controller is 85% funded by the general fund. General Government and Support Services accomplishments include completing 8,000 facilities work orders for 381 buildings, increasing revenue from the sale of county vehicles by 30% through online auctions, assisting external auditors in completing procedures for the 7 city and county audits required by the Redevelopment Dissolution Act, accommodating a 20% increase in the volume of document recordings compared with the previous year, and work to implement a new property tax system.
Section E contains the Capital Budget Summary, which is the recommended 5-year improvement program for capital projects.
Section F is titled Annual Budgetary Processes, Policies, and Fund Structure. It details the legal authorization that shapes the content and format of the budget and adoption process.
Section G contains the County Statistical Profile. This section presents a graphical and statistical view of local demographic, economic, land, environmental, and social factors that impact budget and policy decisions. The statistical profile also compares these statistics with those of benchmark counties that share common characteristics with Santa Barbara County. Section H provides a summary of full-time employees, and Section I is a glossary of useful terms.
At the beginning of this video, you learned that public information and involvement are important goals of Santa Barbara County government. We hope that by learning about the budget process and understanding the difficult decisions that go into creating a balanced budget, you feel assured that your money is hard at work for you. Now the time comes when you can take that knowledge and use it to impact the budget decisions that are made in our community. Let us know what is important to you and get involved, because in the end, we work for you.
At the beginning of this video, we asked who makes the decision of what to do with the 12-cent tax from this cup of coffee. And the answer is you. You've watched the video, and now not only can you read the budget book, but you can understand it as well.
On June 10th, 12th, and 14th, the CEO will present the recommended budget to the Board of Supervisors for approval. During the final part of the budget process, the Board of Supervisors will make recommendations to change or accept the CEO's proposal.
For more information on the budget and to see proposed service impacts, visit www.countyofsb.org and click on the budget button on the right side of the page.
So consider attending one of this June's budget meetings so you can become part of the process. Thanks for watching CSB TV Channel 20, your channel for county news and information.